Another edition of Lance and Larry Tracking the Pack. This week we get you ready for Washington. We bring in the man who survived his first McCarthy show hosting duties with me, Larry McCarren, the Packers analyst. And Larry, this week the burning question is, did the Packers miss Morgan Burnett's physical presence or communication skills more than the other?
Well, Lance, to be perfectly honest, I think they missed both. I mean, let's face it, he's the most experienced safety on the team. He's been there, he's done it, calming effect, not to mention that when he makes a call, it's generally the right one. And on the flip side of that, as far as his physical play, I mean, who's better, MD Jennings, John McMillan, or Morgan Burnett? So Morgan Burnett's the best of the bunch. And so you combine that with the fact that the quarterback in the back end is missing from the game, and you got double trouble, and consequently you got the 49ers going for over 400 yards through the air, and Anquan Bolden, who's a good player, but this good, 13 catches, 208 yards. I mean, they really and truly missed Morgan Burnett on both ends of that equation.
Now, at first glance, Larry, it looked like the Packers did a better job with the read option after they worked on it. As you mentioned, from moment one of the first OTA and the mini camps, did it appear when you did the film study that they were better at diagnosing the read option going into this game against Washington?
Well, let's look at it this way. Last January, they gave up over 300 yards rushing, 323, and 7.5 yards per carry, and the read option wasn't all of that, but it was some of that. Now, Sunday against the Niners, they give up 90 yards rushing, 2.6 a carry, and again, the read option is part of that. Yeah, they solved that problem. I mean, they really did a good job of learning their lessons. They invested all that time in the offseason and the OTA as well, and it paid off on Sunday. Unfortunately, they got beat in the back end.
Larry, it appeared that Eddie Lacy was shaky in the first half and then had that really good fourth quarter drive where the Packers took the lead. Do you chalk it up to rookie jitters, or does he still need to kind of be a little more assignment sure?
Well, I'm sure he had rookie jitters, but I didn't pin the first half strictly on Eddie Lacy. During that time, I thought very early the blocking was lousy. He was getting hit before he had a chance, okay? He had that nice screen pass, set up a touchdown, and then he fumbled. And he spent a half dozen or so plays on the sideline as a sentence for that. And I really didn't think he was all that bad. Not all that great, but not all that bad. And during that one quarter there, every time he had a nice run, Josh Sitton was drawing a penalty. So that didn't help his performance either. And as the game went on, and I always think running backs, when they get a little lathered up and get a little tired and just start going on their instincts instead of thinking, they get better. And Eddie Lacy got better. He is a rookie, and he did make some mistakes, but I think he had help in the negative portion of his game, namely the first half. And I also think if the Packers are in fact going to have a running game this year that opponents actually respect, it's going to start with Eddie Lacy. I think the kid brings something to the party that's worth being patient about.
Packers started on the defensive line with 337-pound B.J. Raji, 325-pound Johnny Jolly, and then, yeah, the granddaddy of them all, Ryan Pickett at 338 pounds. Are we going to see more of that?
Well, I think they were very effective against a good running football team, against a good blocking offensive line. We're talking about a combined tag weight of well over 1,000 pounds. And all those guys are pretty respectable athletes. When you have some success, I think you stay with it. And I think the Packers had a fair amount of success in so far as the rough stuff goes with that lineup. And of course, you know, as much sub packages as they play and with the rotation up front, it's not just those guys, but it's certainly a nice place to start. Nobody thinks they've got the day off when they face any one of those guys as far as moving them off the football.
Larry, you had 12 home openers as a player. What did it mean to you, and as a player, take us underneath the helmet and say what's going on in their minds this week as they step back onto Lambeau Field?
Well, I got to be honest, Lance. If you have a minute, okay, when you talk about home openers and 12 of them, you don't remember them all, okay? But I do remember one in particular. In 1980, after like the second preseason game or so, I had a hernia, like a real hernia where you have to go to the hospital and they cut you open and they leave you with a scar, like that kind of hernia, okay? So I have that done after the second preseason game. The week before the home opener, which is against the Chicago Bears, I started kind of sneaking into practice, okay, and did a little bit of that and to try to get them to play me maybe. And so anyway, the night before we played the Bears, Bart Starr's talking to the team and he goes, Larry's got some kind of streak going as far as consecutive games. We're going to stick him out there for a couple, 3 plays because he's getting close. He's not ready yet for a game, but we'll get him out there a couple, 3 plays, sit him down, and maybe we keep the streak going and we'll play full time the following week or the week after. Well, anyway, it comes time for the game. We go out there, and the first play, second play. And I must have weighed probably 230 pounds because I couldn't lift weights while I was recovering from the hernia. And so third play, fourth play, and I keep looking at the sideline. And, I was no more ready to play than the man in the moon. I had about 10 practice snaps the whole week, the whole preseason really, the previous 3 weeks, and nobody comes out. When it comes to the second series, nobody comes out. Third series, and it keeps going like that. At halftime, they kind of checked me, said, "Hey, you're okay," and so go out there. So the game keeps going. It's tied like 6-6 at the end of regulation. We go to overtime, and I'm hurting for certain, Lance. I mean, I was hurting for certain. So anyway, we finally get into field goal territory. I snapped the ball, and I think it was my guy that blocked it, and it was Alan Page. He blocks it. Chester Markle picks it up, runs it in. Packers win the game in overtime, 12-6. I could have cared less if we won, lost, or tied. I was just so damn happy the damn thing was over. And that's my home opener.
It's one of the most memorable plays, Rock, in Packers-Bears lore. Chester Markle running it in, Lindsey Nelson saying, Chester Markle, because he didn't even know how to call the play. It was so amazing, Rock.
Yeah, I tell you what, I could have kissed Chester. As a matter of fact, I might have. I was so happy that game was over.
See, you get great stuff like this on Lance and Larry tracking the pack each week. Larry, thanks for the time. We'll see you at Lambeau Field on Sunday.
All right, Lance. Thank you.